Hi, my name is Slavika Bogdanov. I'm the writer and producer.
Hi, I'm Daniel Baldwin. I am the director and an actor in our fabulous feature film, A Walking Miracle.
And thank you so much for joining us today. We are making these videos to share what's happening with the film and also share a little bit of the history behind the film. And soon you'll also discover some behind the scenes from the film. And so I wanted to talk about Dean Cain, Mr. Superman on TV. We're super thrilled to have him on this feature film. And so I think you know Dean a little bit. So I wanted to see how you feel about him being on the film. When did you meet him, and how you met and all of that good stuff.
Well, I'm going to tell you a few things that Dean knows that maybe the audience doesn't, and then a couple of things about Dean that he probably doesn't know, I think. So first of all, Dean and I know each other through a celebrity softball organization that we played. He was actively shooting the TV series Superman, and he just blew up. He became gigantic. We would walk out on the fields in Chicago, and the girls went absolutely, it was like he was one of the Beatles. I mean, they went crazy with this guy. And and in the beginning, when I first met him, I didn't know about the show. It was because I liked him so much. I thought, I gotta watch this guy's show. He's really handsome, he's super fit. Well, as I did more research on Dean, one of the more unknown facts about Dean's career is Dean played in the NFL for the Buffalo Bills. He was a professional football player. He was an amazing athlete. And when you're one of the few that gets to play up at that level, there's 45 guys on each team. That's an elite group of athletes, and Dean was that level of an athlete. So I was always, admiring him for that when I found that out, for sure. Buffalo also being one of my favorite teams. Another thing about Dean was his humility. He was one of those guys that, and Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, this one, that one. I mean, big name guys playing in these softball events. And he always took the time. He always, when they wanted the autograph, and I mean, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of people, he'd be out there for hours. And I thought that was so admirable, that somebody who was that big, I mean, he was really big on that show. The other thing that Dean doesn't know is I've watched every single episode of Superman. I was a huge fan of the show. I never told him that. I never thought, dude, the other day when Lois, I mean, I knew everything about that show.
That's amazing.
And here's the great thing as a director, because he's a friend. He's not a friend that, comes over my house every day. We live in different coasts, but he's a friend because he gets it. He gets it. He gets it like my brother Billy gets it. He gives it back. He takes his time. But his acting on Superman was when I absolutely just went, wow, this guy. It's so tempting to be Superman and play him, but he was, again, so humble in his portrayal until he became Superman. But as Clark, he didn't play it super fumbling like the original. Who was the swimmer that played him? Johnny Weissmuller?
No, he was Tarzan.
He was Tarzan, that's right. What was his name?
Christopher Reeve?
No, not Christopher Reeve. That was the movie version.
Yeah.
No, the Superman on TV that made the show really, really big. Anyway,
I don't know.
That guy, he did the kind of fumbly, like, oh, Lois, when he dropped things. Well, Dean didn't do it.
I remember that.
Dean didn't do it really that way, but he didn't play him like a big tough guy. He didn't play him like, he kept it very simple, so that you really liked Clark, and you didn't look at Superman like he was the guy who was going to come in and blow everybody away. You looked at Superman because Superman was the answer. This was the guy. He didn't have to have the bravado and everything. He was Superman, and I know that sounds very simplistic in its definition and explanation, but there's something about when you are that confident in what you're doing and your acting, that you walk in, and your presence, how you carry yourself, how you deliver, how you enunciate, how you, it says a lot. And he's got a lot of that really subtle, gets the message across talent, which I admire in an actor. I remember I was I watched Chris Walken walk up to a guy and he said, the line was, you know, and have the money at 3 o'clock or you're effing dead. And so the guy does the line to Walken 2 times in rehearsal. And Walken goes, hey, let's switch roles for a minute. And we all kind of looked at each other like, what? And he goes, I'm going to do your role. You do my role. So I want you to tell me about the money at 3 o'clock. And then I'm going to tell you the line back. And so this actor turns around and says to him, you know, 3 o'clock's unreasonable. And Walken walked over to him and he had a navy pea coat on. And he started picking fake lint off his shoulder. And he looked at him and he went, I know your dad. I know your dad for a long time and I admired your dad. Have the money at 3 o'clock. And he whispered it. And he's cleaning the lint off his jacket. You know why? Because to that guy, killing the son of somebody he knew didn't matter if he didn't have the money at 3 o'clock. He was dead at 3:01. And he doesn't, somebody that's yelling it and screaming it, is, who's he selling it to? Who's he? The guy that's going to kill you is the guy that's going to say, have the money at 3. Please have the money at 3. I don't want to do it, but you're dead at 3:01. And it's that kind of stuff that people sometimes don't realize, that in a movie, as I move in closer and closer to your face, and you're like this, and you're screaming the line or whatever, it's the size of a Greyhound bus. You're close up on a big screen in a movie theater. So, yeah, Dean's that kind of cool. Doesn't have to yell it. His presence is enough.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to work with all these giants.
Yeah, me too.
So thanks so much for sharing that. I mean, a little bit that what you just said reminded me of something I'd like to share. My dad was kind of that kind of guy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And once we got robbed, there was a guy that came with a knife and another with a gun. And while my mom was kind of figuring things out, my dad went in the back and got a crowbar, came back and stood in front of the door so they couldn't walk out. So the guy has all the cash and everything and comes to my dad, one with a gun, the other with a knife. And my dad's super calm with his crowbar. He's like, you're never gonna come out of this alive. There was no way. And the guys are furious and they're screaming and they're pointing the gun, they're shaking. And my dad's like super calm because he knows he's gonna destroy them. And in his mind, there's not even a doubt, right? That they're finished. And so, of course, he moved his crowbar, he destroyed the arm of the guy with the gun. There was blood and money plastered everywhere in the pastry shop. The other guy, of course, with a knife froze. The police came. They took them out. But that was my dad was like that. He was super calm, but you knew, in his eyes, you knew he was a killer. So
the moral of the story is, if you want a croissant, don't go to Slava's father's place. It's not a good place to go. Because you might walk in to the crowbar with someone robbing the place. Crying out loud. What the hell's going on over there in France?
Anyway, thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our newsletter to get more of these amazing stories. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.